Okay, there's probably another Metroid to the left, but we may as well see if there's a quick way to the upgrade on the right. I doubt it, but it doesn't hurt to look. Definitely not a methodical way to check, and it's not like any part of that wall looks different from the rest. Still, we're getting readings for a Metroid further down, so let's check that before we do the annoying thing of trying to get back up there. And I somehow forgot about this room altogether. I know I keep saying this, but it's a damn good thing I'm not trying to break any speed records or something. Right, not even a sound effect for something breakable nearby. Or at least nothing breakable that we didn't already break at some point before now. Oh goody, taking a pounding before we even get to the next Metroid that's pretty close by. I suppose I should just be glad we aren't getting hurt by the environmental hazard that are those bloody weird plants down there. It's everything else in the room that's taking a good shot at us. Well, I suppose I should just be glad that we got full of health before entering the Metroid's room. I suppose that's something. Oh yeah! Shooting with the ice beam makes it feel so much easier than watching plenty of missiles just bounce off the thing and start to feel more and more panicked as ammo starts to run low. And that does it. Another Metroid down. Wonder how long it'll take before dealing with this basic form stops feeling like an event around here. Hell, will it ever stop if they all feel that damn tough? Right, nothing else to this room. And now I'm landing in the environmental hazard when the Metroid isn't a threat anymore. And somehow finding the hazard less dangerous than the creatures we've been running into. As a switch, usually I'm more worried about the environment than the monsters around us. And apparently, despite killing one Metroid nearby, there's another that's pretty damn close to this same area. Presumably, that room directly below us, so I'm not sure how we're supposed to get there from where we are right now. Okay, guess it's as simple as moving through the wall. And even in context, that doesn't feel right for me to say. Probably wasn't worth taking the damage to kill that particular slug thing. Well, at least we got health immediately after that, so it's not like we're all that close to death. Though it's really hard to tell just how vulnerable we are, since I haven't adjusted to just how much damage these enemies can manage to do in a single strike just yet. Right, on to number 3. Well, those little bombs have a larger blast radius than I was expecting. Dear God, we are consistently cutting it close with these fights. Wonder how long it'll take for me to deal with those things in a way that doesn't feel like we're all too close to death. Because I'm getting a distinct feeling just getting more energy tanks isn't going to be enough to make me feel safe against the weaker Metroids. Especially if I'm going to have such a consistently hard time avoiding getting hit by the bombs the most basic ones drop. Right, upwards to the health generator. Though part of me can't help feeling disappointed that there wasn't another Metroid just across the hall. Well, the shell certainly implies there's one nearby. I suppose that's something. Great. The combination of the bat and the slick surface preventing us from going that far up really makes this bit of traversing a pain in the ass. And good God, I have the distinct feeling we're gonna be having a lot of trouble getting around in this game. Mostly because in clip 2 and 3, generally when a game would still be treating us with kid gloves, considering the difficulty setting, we're having a hard time here, despite having a good idea of what we should be doing here. Bloody hell, was not expecting to deal with navigation puzzles like this so early in the game. Surprisingly unforgiving considering how early into the game we are, and it's making me nervous what we're gonna be in for later on. For some reason, I can't find it in me to be embarrassed by the trouble I'm having here. Especially since it's asking for quicker movements and more precision than we've needed for many of the obstacles we've dealt with in either of the previous 2 games we've gone through so far. If anything, I'm just severely worried since this is the most injured we've been when first confronting a Metroid in this game. And we've had some close calls against them, even when we started off with 3 full tanks. You'd think with the sheer number of times I've been hit by them, I'd be far more paranoid when those little bombs drop instead of so focused on shooting the Metroid, we just take the hits. And that does it. We're done with all the Metroids in this area. Back to a save point so we don't have to go through that again. Then we drain the next bit of acid in our way. And now I feel a bit insulted that Samus felt the need to point out where the place we drain the acid is when we had to pass that just to get over here in the first place. Not that it's a major thing that she pointed it out for us, just I can't help thinking we could have found that again easily enough. Besides, our biggest problem is probably just going to be getting through this hallway again. Great! Just because I can see the bat coming doesn't mean I can do anything about it. Definitely a lot more painful than it should have been to get up there. But at least the problem wasn't with me trying to find a way to jump from point A to point B this time. Definitely appreciate that healing station there. Hopefully there's going to be more that are just as convenient. There's definitely a quicker and less painful way to get to the other side here. But I suppose I'm just the wrong kind of stubborn to do the smarter thing right now. Sure, we have plenty of health, but that was no reason to go through the path of most resistance here. And great, I'm literally just running right into easily avoided danger. Sure, it's not as ridiculous as when I was jumping right into lava pits in Zero Mission, but still. And why the hell am I trying to open this path with bombs when we've already established those winds will just remove any and all bombs in a hurry? Ugh. Right, that little missile upgrade probably isn't going to be worth too much more trouble. Let's just get to the next save point and move on to the next collection of Metroids then. Again, a little curious why it is that in this game the save points are out in the open, while every other game in this series, both 2D and 3D, they make the save points be in their own separate rooms. I get that this game is trying to reinvent and reinvigorate the franchise, and in many ways it does, but still, I think I'm allowed to be a little confused by some of the decisions they made to make this game different from the other 2D Metroids. For example, what is that block with the glowing red light even supposed to be? We've never encountered that kind of barrier before, which is something we're probably going to be seeing a few more times over the course of this game. It's still recognizable as a Metroid game since it has all the key elements of exploration, gathering various upgrades, and hunting down some specific enemies. Maybe it's the fact that, as of the moment when I comment on this clip at the very least, this Metroid 2 remake is the newest Metroid game. They release games painfully infrequently for the most part, and since this was the best installment after the combined train wrecks of Federation Force and Other M, it makes me so frustrated that we've yet to see how they could take the series from here. Okay, so far it doesn't seem like there's anything this high up for us to grab, but there's no harm in continuing to check what's in this direction. You know, seeing an enemy try to charge us only to be blocked by the terrain just doesn't really sit well for me for some reason. Guess it just feels off that disposable enemies that we're supposed to forget about in a hurry seem to be having more trouble with the terrain they've always lived around than Samus, the person who only showed up onto this planet under an hour ago. Okay, seems we're gonna be going further up. Doubt it's gonna lead us to anything all that great, but there's no harm in making sure we're not leaving anything grabbable back here when we move on. Though again, it feels like the terrain and obstacles were designed for us to do a good deal more backtracking than AM2R's version of this planet. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that the room that's absurdly hot in this area is gonna have something very important that we're gonna have to try to remember to grab in about an hour or so. Brilliant. Two charging at us at the same time, and my counter swing caught neither of them. I'd ask how long it's going to take for me to perfect that move, but then it's not a move we're going to be carrying over to any of the other games in this series that I've already recorded at this point. So perfecting and getting used to the sheer number of angles we're going to be able to aim here is going to make Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion unintentionally more annoying to me, since they are both much older games than Samus Returns. Sorry, little guy, but I'm in no mood to get jumped by you. We've got an acid toilet to flush, and I think we're a little overdue to do that. Right, I'm certainly not dumb enough to enter the same overheated room twice, when I still don't have the upgrade that would let the air be anything other than excruciating for us. Yeah, very little point in killing that creature on that platform. Still, we're not exactly in a hurry here. And there we go, the next 4 Metroid DNA sequences are in the machine. Again, I would have liked an explanation, at the very least, for why these devices exist outside of giving us a more active role in opening up paths as we kill Metroids around here. I'm sorry, but as is, those devices just feel out of place to me. In the other 2 games we've gone through so far, everything we've come across in its own way felt like it was justifiable considering what we knew about the environment and how we interacted with it. But the existence of those devices blocking our path until we kill a given number of Metroids makes it feel like the Chozo wanted someone to exterminate that race. And that feels like it contradicts the idea that the Metroids were pretty much created and placed on this world by the Chozo for a reason. Granted, we're not gonna see that reason until we get to Metroid Fusion, the last of the 2D tiles we're gonna be going through, and it's not like the 2D games do all that much to establish lore. They just throw us into environments after giving us just enough information to know the general idea of what we're supposed to be doing in a given mission. screw attack blocks, huh? Can't help feeling it'd be a little early to get the screw attack, but then we've also got the ice beam fairly early on as well. Right, another elevator. Seems they wanted to have more of a divide between areas than AM2R, or maybe because they just have so much per area that they felt the need to have a loading screen when you make the transition. A little hard to say for sure since we've gone from hand-drawn sprites to more detailed models. Anyway, I have the distinct feeling this area is going to be more acid-focused than the last one due to the constant purple mist behind us. Though maybe that's only going to be a thing between the elevator and the machine we're supposed to see how many more Metroids we're going to have to take down in this given area. Great! Now I can't help thinking this game made the charging guys less interesting, just because we have an easy means to shut them down. Eight already? Is it bad that part of me wants the Metroids to start doubling up when we're still having trouble against the first form in a one-on-one situation? Okay, sounds like we have a charge door just off screen. And the background is once again blue instead of purple. Why am I somehow disappointed that this isn't going to be some kind of dedicated acid area or something? This seems about as good a place as any to take a break for the moment.